Segment grid for visibility. Curve them with complex geometry. Duplicate grid with the snap and understand the secret of the 2D and 3D sign near to them. Add elbow and sync them to other views. All of this today. It's Modeling Monday. Grids are essential in Revit for organizing layout, aligning elements, and ensuring a structured design process. Here is a breakdown of creating different grids type in Revit: linear, curved, or picture line grids. The linear grid is the most straightforward type and it's perfect for setting up a clear octagonal layout. Here is how to start. In this new project, I will go to architectural and I will click grid in the drop menu. I will click to place the start point of your grid line, then drag to set the length and the direction of your grid. Click again to complete. You can use the blue grid to adjust the length or move it if needed. And if you are copying a grid, it will automatically increment the numbers. Let's create another horizontal grid. And this time let's name it A. If I duplicate this grid, it will automatically increment the lettering from E to Z. Now let's go to the second tool, which is creating a curved grid. We have two tools to use for this method. The first one is to start and radius arc. So choose start and radius, then define the start point, then click to define the second point, and after that you should have to choose the radius of your arc. This method is useful when you have defined start and end point but need flexibility in setting the curvature. The second tool, it's called center ends arc, which goes this way. So first, we click to place the center point of your arc. Move the cursor outward to place the first end. Then continue to place the second end. This method is helpful when you have a clear center point and want to control the ends of the arc precisely. Now let's break down the tool of picture line grid method. First, let's go to architecture, click on grids, then choose the picked lines. As you can see, as I hover on elements, I see another blue line here. If I click, we see that a grid is being created. Same for the other places. And the lettering is incrementing automatically. Of course, if you select the grid, you could adjust the length of it. And you can also change the naming. Now, let's break down the grid type properties. The grid type properties are settings that allow you to adjust the appearance and behavior of grid lines in your project. These properties are useful for customizing grids to match project standard or to enhance the clarity and organization of your model. Here's a breakdown of some key type properties you can adjust for your grid. By clicking on the grid and clicking on Edit Type, we can now see the different elements that control the grid layout. First, sample, which allows us to make the grids with bevel or no bevel, as well as we can make it to look circle, rectangle, or triangle in a separated family, and we load it to our project. The second element, which is center segment, allows us to make the grids continuous, non-continuous, or make it more customized to be continuous in certain parts and non-continuous in others. Also, we could control the weight of the grid, change the colors, change the line style to be dash, hidden, demolished, etc. And also change the length of the grid. For plan view sample end one, which allows us to make the sample visible on the first end, as well as make it visible in the second end. And for non-plan view sample, it will allow us to make the sample also more customized to be visible on top, bottom, or both. Let's imagine this case scenario where you have a grid that is much more complicated. It's a combination of linear and curved grid, and it's not just going in one direction, but it changes in direction each time. In that specific time, the multi-grid segments, it's the solution you should opt for. So let's see how it's set up. First, you go to architecture, click grid, click multi-segments, then now you are allowed to draw your line. So let's change direction each time. Good. Now let's do curve. Let's get back to linear one. And let's finish. You see? And now, as you can see, it's done perfectly. And here is another handy tool in the grid system, which is the grid checkbox. This one, it will allow you to manage visibility of the grid tag in each side of the grid in your view. So if we are checking it, you can see the grid tag, and if you uncheck it, it's invisible now. Same for this side. To enhance your workflow, make it more speedy, how to duplicate a grid in a snap. This is very cool and handy. As I already showed you, you can just select the grid and copy it. But there is another way to do it, which is holding control and dragging the grid. This saves you time when you need multiple grids with the same properties. If you pay close attention to when you select the grid, you will see a lock sign. This sign, when it's locked, it allowed you to move the other grids dependently. And if you uncheck it, it will move each grid independently. Now let's select the grid again. Have you ever noticed the 3D sign near to the grid line? The 3D sign means that if I'm changing the grid position in level 1, it will affect the grid position in level 2. And if I'm clicking the 3D sign, it will be changing to 2D. 2D give us the opportunity to change the position of the grid without affecting its position in other levels. This tool is great when you want to have a specific grid placement in specific views. Adding an elbow to your grid line can make layout clearer, especially in dense areas. This adjustment is level specific, meaning it only affects the view you are working in. It's a great way to enhance clarity without changing your entire grid setup. If you need to bring your grid back to its default, there is a quick reset option available. This will restore the grid's original visibility and alignment across all views, giving you unified control over its placement once again. Apply elbow adjustment across multiple views. Use propagate extend tool. This allows you to carry over your adjustment like elbows to other views effortlessly. Just be sure your crop regions are large enough, as views with small crop regions won't appear in the propagate extend option. Now you are equipped with powerful grid tools that will enhance your workflow in Revit. And to make the process easier, I attach a link for a post that summarizes all of these tools. Utilize them and make your own powerful grid system efficient. And if you find this content helpful, share it with a friend and see you in another video.